Have you ever wondered what would happen if a pro player trained someone who's never touched a Pokemon card? How about if they created an entire army? I coached 12 of my mates and then set them loose at a regional championship. Now these fellas may be unfamiliar with the Pokemon TCG, but they are absolutely no strangers to competition.
By the net.
He
I don't think he's done. He's done. Oh my God. He's got it.
They are some of the best Super Smash Bros. Players in Australia.
Going for the side B!
Oh, no way.
My God! Got him!
And if you don't think this is going to be relevant to their success,
47 is so dangerous.
I actually used to be pretty good as well.
That bag, because it's not going to string together anymore. Going for the late down air, and that'll do it. Clipping the jump there and the up B from Dura. Danklin pulling out the last trick in the bag all the way at the bottom.
And I genuinely believe a lot of the skills and mentality required for improvement directly translate to mastering the Pokemon TCG. Obviously, they were still really new to the game, only having a couple weeks to seriously cram in as much learning as possible. However, they all had a massive advantage over your average new player. An incredible teacher. But this nepotism did come with one crucial caveat. They would all be playing a certified Tim Danklin deck for Alligator. I've already yapped about the Gator enough in other videos, but trust me, it is chock full of tricks and an absolute menace to play against. This decision may have also been influenced by some financial constraints, since I was the one sourcing all the cards for everyone. That is a lot of bulk. And let me make it clear, this is absolutely not a meta deck, and no one expected to see so many of them at the tournament.
What the heck is going on here? Why is Fraligator just all of a sudden 3.3%? All right, what the heck? All right, well, who's doing that? Tim Franklin? Franklin assembled the squad. Franklin's over there pushing the Fraligator prop, bro. More popular than Flare Box and Charizard is Fraligator, but of course.
Now, I believe Pokemon is an incredibly skill-based game. Obviously, as with any card game, there are always going to be elements of luck. But the ridiculous consistency and dominance demonstrated by the game's highest echelon of players absolutely proves just how much of a determining factor skill really is. So I wanted to prepare a bit of a tier list before the event. After hearing how they were understanding certain concepts, watching them play some games on TCG Live, and also based on how much attention they were paying in my classes, I picked out my 3 favorites for the race: Strix, Zav, and Connor. I genuinely have faith that at least one of these dedicated fellas can make it through to the second day of competition. But that's not to say the others wouldn't have some surprises in store for me. And to add a bit of extra motivation, I was throwing in $50 for the highest placing member of the Gator Gang. Oh, and in case you were wondering, here are the 2 variations of the deck the fellas were playing. One with Precious Trolley and one with a personal favorite of mine, Grand Tree. Anyway, let's get into the good stuff. It's the day of the big tournament, Melbourne Regionals. 563 hopeful players, each about to have their spirits crushed by my Feraligatr army. On the first day of competition, there would be 8 rounds. To progress onto the next, you need a record of at least 5 wins, 2 losses, and a tie. Roughly the top 15% of players. Unfortunately, things were not off to a good start, as we were already down a man due to Nick having some health problems. And round 1 doesn't bring much better news. The squad is starting out with 8 losses. I mean, fair enough, they're all new and copped a lot of bad matchups. But I'm going to take a second to shame Anthony because he somehow lost to a Ceruledge, and this should absolutely be an auto win. I was sitting a few seats down from him playing my own match, but after I won, I just stood there watching him like a disappointed father. This is what happens when you don't pay attention in class. Luckily, not all hope was lost, as Connor, one of my star students, managed to pull out a dub against Raging Bolt. And despite putting next to no time into actually practicing the game, Sam was gifted a no-show. Surely he won't get any more of these though, right? And Zav, one of my most promising picks, who consistently grinded online in the weeks leading up to this tournament, was maybe not quite as reliable in other aspects. He didn't properly submit his list. This led to an automatic round loss, but at least he'd be allowed to play out the rest of the tournament. So what did he do with that spare hour? He just kept on grinding.
I didn't submit my deck list properly, so I missed round 1, and I hit Masters in TCG Live in the corner while waiting for my first round, which was round 2.
Round 2 was a little better. This time we only had 7 losses. Strix did what Anthony couldn't and managed to pick up a freebie on a helpless Ceruledge, while Zav finally played his first round of the tournament and hit a Feraligatr mirror. Surprisingly, they weren't from our group and were just coincidentally playing the most base deck in the room. However, this meant that they only had a fraction of the Ditto experience and Zav picked up an easy dub. But somehow, this wasn't the only Gator mirror going on this round. We already had a team kill. Bin managed to walk away with the win, but at what cost? Michael's mental was absolutely in shambles after a crushing defeat in such a ridiculously unfun matchup. Would this lead to the untimely end of his tournament run just a couple rounds in? Round 3 was an absolute bloodbath for the Gator Gang. Trust me, things will get better for our heroes. Although 3 of the fellas were at least able to put themselves on the board with a tie, there was only a single win. And it was Zav who did the impossible and slayed a Dragapult, managing to overcome what is usually a really tough matchup. I wonder how he did it.
He prize switched, so I bitlocked Pheasantipity 21 times. At one point, we hand shook to fast forward 5 turns. Because we knew that neither of us could do anything. And then I won. Because I had 2 monkeys prized as well, and he had 1 monkey, so we're just going back and forth with the 30 damage for 5 turns. And then I killed the Fez with, the monkey, and then I unprized 2 monkeys, and it was curtains. It was done.
Super impressive stuff. On the complete opposite side of the coin, Strix really disappointed me. One of my personally picked prodigies had an absolute heartbreaker of a throw. He forgot to set his prize cards out.
All I gotta say is, if this was on Pokemon Live, I'd be winning every single game. I didn't put my prize cards out, so I lost.
In round 4, Zav continued his streak of success against his most despised matchup, clutching out a tie against a Dragapult.
I have not lost to a Dragapult yet, which is a miracle. I took a prize, and Arvind didn't unfair stamp me, which means that I actually can rush him down. And I did, and it was awesome. But I won too fast, so we had time to actually play a Dragapult Feraligatr game, and I lost. And then we almost finished the 3rd one, which I was also definitely losing. So we'll take a tie.
Somehow, with a record of 2-1-1, this man remains undefeated by anyone, except for Arcanine's deckless submissions. And he wasn't the only one seeing success. Connor was also keeping my hopes and dreams alive, staying in day 2 contention.
I'm stoked. I'm 2-2 now, just being Arch Eliodon, and I don't know, it was just the first time where the game plan, even though there were obstacles, just went perfectly, and I was so happy about it. I feel like I played really well. Correctly caped the Mimikyu to avoid the 160 from the mini, what's the thing called before it? None of you would know. It's all good. Yeah, I'm really happy playing Pokemon.
But at 2 wins, 2 losses, he wouldn't be allowed to drop another set for the rest of the day. We were about to lose another soldier though. It didn't take long after that mind-numbing mirror for Michael to drop. He'd had just about enough of both playing with and against Feraligatr decks. However, him wanting to drop from the tournament ended up as more of a selfless sacrifice. See, Anthony ripped one of his sleeves, and not being the most attentive individual when I was explaining what to bring, he forgot to pack any spares. There's a good reason that Dragon Shields come with an extra 40 in each pack. Don't be like Anthony. Bring your spare sleeves. Anyway, because they were on the exact same 60, Michael just swapped decks with him before going home. So at least Anthony could play out the rest of the tournament. After the dust settled from round 5, all but 2 hopeful heroes had been knocked out of day 2 contention. Connor, who secured yet another win, this time against Joltik Box, and Zav, despite suffering his first real loss of the tournament this round, was still hanging in there, but would only be allowed to win for the final 3 rounds. And I gotta talk about the Gator who is sitting in 3rd place. In round 4, Sam got hungry and went to go grab lunch instead of actually playing. But now, back and fully fueled, he managed to pick up his 2nd dub of the tournament because he was blessed with another no-show. In round 6, the vibes were incredible. Of the remaining 10 fellas, only 3 of them lost. Although, one of those wins was Sam getting another no-show.
Sam, one of the highest placing Feraligatrs right now after round 6. He's 3-3, 3 wins, 3 losses. One of the losses, he got hungry, so he went out for lunch. And Sam, how many people have you actually beaten?
0, but it's alright. I am my greatest enemy here.
So was it your first round opponent didn't show up,
Correct.
and then your 5th round opponent didn't show up, and then your 6th round opponent didn't show up.
Also correct.
So do you feel like you've really earned this 3-3?
Absolutely. We call this. So here's the thing, right? To win, you've got to show up, right? And I am showing up.
He's putting in the hard yards. He's doing more effort than his opponents. I think if you win one more, you're going to start getting some prizing.
I'm starting to think he's paying his opponents to not rock up. As for our 2 strongest soldiers, Connor had an unfortunate time against Raging Bolt, but still managed to walk away with a tie.
I tied to Raging Bolt. I won game 1 because he didn't know he was playing Gator, so then he discarded 2 rows, discarded Prime Catcher early, so I big bit him and he scooped, so good. And then game 2, he was running 4, what's the thing called again? Pokemon catches, and he won three times in a row, and he pen padded his boss back. So he gusted up 5 times in a row.
And Zav won against a Terror Box. You just gotta hear the story for this one.
They had won 2 rows, and game 2, they accidentally took 2 prizes when they hadn't killed any of my Pokemon. And so what the fix was that they showed the prizes, like the cards, and then it went shuffle back to the prizes, and it was Churros and Cornerstone. So I see that and I'm like, oh my god, and I just instant started bite locking anything that moved.
So now they're both tied up on a record of 3-2-1. I am really hoping that one of them will be able to clutch up and win out into day 2. It'd be a genuine achievement for their first ever major event, especially on Feraligatr.
I think we just had 6 rounds. We've got 2 more left. I'm very proud of Connor and Zav. They're still in contention, both at 3-2-1. So 2 more wins and they'll be making day 2, which is insane for their first tournament. And also, even if they just get 1 more win, that's still some prizing, get some packs, get some points, It's not bad, can't complain. I'm also proud of Sam for going 3-3, beating absolutely no one. It's very impressive. I hope he can just win out and do the best, because that would be hilarious.
And one cool thing I don't think I've mentioned yet is that they were both representing different Gator builds, with Connor being on the Precious Trolley version and Zav being a fellow Grand Tree believer. It's so sick that the fellas are seeing success on both variants I built. Round 7's done, and I gotta say, Zav is an absolute machine. Despite not even getting a chance to play round 1, he didn't let this get him down. He just went to the corner, locked in, and grinded another hour of TCG Live. That determination didn't go unrewarded, because he was now sitting at his winning in for day 2.
I'm here with Xavier Clark, Gator extraordinaire. How are you going?
I am 4-2-1. I'm on the bubble. If I win this next one, I'm in day 2. I just had a long 40-minute game 35-minute game where for 15 turns, I would artisan out 2 minions, 2 Pokemon, and then he would Sylveon them away. And we did that on loop for literally 15 minutes. Game 2, I owned it 4 times, found no energy, and that's why it ended in 10 minutes. And then game 3, we gentlemaned. If he had an Area 0 or switch in his prizes, I won. And I won.
That's insanely base. And now you're winning in. If you win this next one, guaranteed day 2, which is insane for your first regionals.
Unfortunately, he was now the last remaining hope for the Gator gang, as Connor took an L to Joltik Box. Iron Hands is just too good. What can you do? But fingers crossed he can pull through in the last round and collect a consolation prize of 9 pity packs. Alright, before I get into the thrilling conclusion of Zav's epic day 1 journey, I wanted to quickly highlight a few of the other stories that were going on. We'll start from the bottom tables, as Aaron and Anthony pair each other in a battle to avoid last place. The loser of this will be labelled the worst Gator of the group, and Aaron, who definitely put the least time in, takes the L to go 1-7.
I played Anthony in the last game of the day and I threw a winning position. I think today's proved that I'm definitively the worst player in the venue. I went 1-7. The 1 was a no-show, but I mean, we'll take that.
I'm still proud of him for sticking it out through all 8 rounds though. Sam finally gets on the board. After going 0-5 at a cup and then not winning a single game all day, he managed to tie with a Raging Bolt in the last round for a final score of 3-4-1.
3-4-1. DQ Merchant over here. 8 rounds Raging Bolt, 1 win on them. Fantastic work. Finally got that up.
Strix also ended on a high note, making a comeback and beating a Terror Box to finish 3-4-1 as well.
Fun fact, I don't know if that's put service to the story. He bit locked a Dragonfall player for 21 turns. And apparently he was already mad after Zav's match. And then 2 rounds later, he sits next to me, I put Total L forward, and he's like, oh my not again. And the exact same thing happens. He benches the Genesect, I counter catcher it up, and he's like,
but he was just barely outplaced by the dark horse of this race. Lucy, who started off 0-4-1, clutched up and won the final 3 rounds without any no-show wins, just stealing 3rd place thanks to her insane resistance.
Lucy is going to talk about how much fun she had today.
My boyfriend, who is ranked in Tim's S tier, apparently, very sadly ranked under me. Let's fuck her.
Connor managed to win his final round against a Gardevoir, securing a top 256 placement and 9 packs as a little treat.
Yeah, started off pretty hot. Ended in top 256, 190th to be specific.
All right, let's see how Zav's winning in went.
So I had a win and in situation, and it was against Raging Bolt. Great matchup. He did not have Baby Bolt. Pog. Really easy matchup. He teched a little for our deck, so it was actually kind of like, it was only favored. Game 1, he gets Bitlock, he's prized at 2 euros, it's over. Game 2, I prized 2 Totos. What are you gonna do? I scoop pretty much instantly. There's 10 minutes left. We get a few turns down. I've got a good setup, he's got a good setup, and yeah, time's called. 2 more turns, nothing's really happened. It's a really slow matchup. I'm like, I think I win because it's a favored matchup for me. And he's never seen a Feraligatr deck before. And it's also his first regional, so he doesn't know what's going on. But before game 3, I was like, how do you want a gentleman's? And he went, what's that? And I was like, oh.
It's also your first regional.
It's also my first regionals. But I had the Tim brief. And so what ended up happening was he and I couldn't come to an agreement. And he didn't want to gamble to win, even though if we both tie, it's basically we both lose. We both get the same prize. So I ended up just giving him the win. It was all good. Thank you so much, Tim, for bringing us to regionals. This has been great. I only lost today to prizing 2 Totos, which happened twice. And
Yeah, how was your round 1?
well, I beat myself.
Arcanine's hard.
It is. Why do you have to press submit 3 times?
It's crazy. You did the best. The best out of anyone.
Yeah.
It's great. You get the prizing.
I get the prizing. I get
$50.
50. Oh my god. My
get
debt.
$50.
My debt gone.
It is so unfortunate for things to end like this, but massive respect to Zav for doing what he did. I had such a great time organizing all this, and next year I'm going to do it even bigger and better. Melbourne Regionals 2026 is not ready for half the meta to be a Tim Danklin classic. And just look at how much of a great time everyone who played this year had.
Deck was fun. I got lots of dopamine stalling people. That's how I got my wins.
That's a fun way to play, and keen to play Pokemon again in some other way.
I reckon I am inspired as well. Yeah, I'll keep it going, I reckon.
I had fun, even though this is definitely like not a deck for me. I'm a very aggro and like non-thinking guy, and this is maybe the most thinking deck you could possibly play. I'm inspired. I want to try a different deck actually next time. I want to try maybe Joltik Box, I've been told, and I love Goldengo.
And are you keen to play more Pokemon after this?
Absolutely. Marty's grip style, catch me in a real deck, catch me online because I can't touch cards. I'm really slow at touching cards.
Yeah, you inspired to play more Pokemon after this?
Yeah, I want to play Gardevoir.
Yeah, overall, I'm really thankful for this experience. Initially, I was like, I'll just pick up a hobby for like a quick month or so. Tim's just dragging us in. But it's turned into something that I can really appreciate in terms of like competition and how kind of same but different experience relative to Smash. Learning matchups, putting in time to grind, as well as getting to actually experience in a really big venue like this what nerves is like relatively as well, especially when there's no technical aspect. But I definitely had nerves in terms of decision making and time pressure. I definitely made a few mistakes. But honestly, about Pokemon TCG as a whole, everyone's really, really, really nice and welcoming. I think I will stick around. Maybe be the only one that keeps playing Gator.
Although I don't think everyone will keep the hobby up.
Oh yeah, they shouldn't. The stalling deck shouldn't be a thing. Yep, they should remove that. Yeah, Mimikyu needs to be deleted. All right. Yeah.
All in all, it was a good day. I wouldn't do this again though. Actually, here's something. Want to see this? Wait. All right, watch this. I had fun, but it's not for me.
Never again.
Never again. I would do it if you told me to.
This all happened a few months ago though, so I wanted to give a real quick update on where all the fellas are at now. Connor recently won a local with my Roaring Moon to Dunsparce deck. Strix just managed to top 8 a huge winner box event with Marnie's Grimmsnarl, and Zav has kept up the grind, playing a ton of Gardevoir EX. Trust me, these guys are going to be cracked. A few of the others, like Lucy, Jamie, and Max, hit up a couple locals and are keen to keep messing with the game. Plus, some of our other mates who didn't even attend the regionals were inspired and are now getting into the TCG as well. I really can't emphasize it enough. It is just so sick to see more fellas getting into the game. Seriously, if you've never tried the Pokemon TCG, never been to a local, or never been to a regionals, take the next step. Give it a shot. Trust me, it's incredible. And don't forget to subscribe. Cheers, I'll catch you in the next one. Shout out to all the wonderful fellas supporting me as YouTube channel members, as well as over on Patreon. I genuinely appreciate it.